The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job. Do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
Last night, many of us were alarmed to hear President Trump speak about forcibly displacing 1.8 million people from Gaza. The Prime Minister has spoken to the President on several occasions now. Does he personally believe that Trump recognises the dangers of statements like this to the fragile ceasefire in Gaza, and indeed to the security of both Palestinians and Israelis? I'm glad that the Foreign Secretary has confirmed that the government's position is still a two-state solution. I think that has support on all sides of the House. But will he reassure the House that this position and our concerns on these dangerous statements from the President will be communicated to the White House directly and firmly?
Well, Mr. Speaker, you raise a very important issue. The most important issue on the ceasefire is obviously sustained. We see it through the phases, and that means that the remaining hostages come out and the aid that's desperately needed gets into Gaza at speed and at the volumes that are needed. The image of thousands of Palestinians walking, literally walking through the rubble to try to find their homes and their communities in Gaza. They must be allowed home. They must be allowed to rebuild, and we should be with them in that rebuild on the way to a two-state solution.
I always adopt the approach when it comes to the US administration of judge them based on what they do and not what they say. I think it would be important that the United States would clarify the comments of the President overnight, because the international communities has put a huge effort now into bringing about a ceasefire. It has been the long-held view of the international community that a two-state solution must be the landing zone here. And the comments last night were of course very concerning, but the focus has to be on keeping the ceasefire in place, a fragile ceasefire that has seen aid finally flowing to the people of Gaza, bombing stopping and hostages released.
I'm not going to, as Australia's Prime Minister, give a daily commentary on statements by the US President. My job is to support Australia's position. Australia's position is the same as it was this morning, as it was last year, and it was 10 years ago, and it was under the Howard government. The Australian government support, on a bipartisan basis, a two-state solution.
In 2 days, in a span of few hours, 400,000 Palestinians walking returned to the northern part of the Gaza Strip. I think that we should be respecting the selections and the wishes of the Palestinian people, and the Palestinian people at the end will make the determination. Their determination, they want to clean the destruction in Gaza. They want to rebuild Gaza. They want to rebuild the schools, the hospitals, the roads, the infrastructures, and the buildings and the homes, because this is where they belong and they love to live there. And I think that leaders and people should respect the wishes of the Palestinian people.